Alright everybody, welcome back to another game of Intermediate Chess where I play some rapid chess and talk through my thought process in the opening, middle game, and hopefully endgame. If you enjoy the content, please like, share, and subscribe. I got hit in the head earlier today. You can see the little ding there. I'm going to just go ahead and get a game going while I talk about nothing. I should do that more often. But yeah, got hit in the head. If you saw last episode, our winning streak was broken. Unfortunately, I think we played as white against a Philidor defense, and yeah, just a bunch of bad mistakes along the way. But hopefully, redemption time. It's about how quickly you can pick yourself up. And today it looks like we're going to be playing against as black, and they play something crazy. A3, huh? I guess, when people play kind of non-standard things in the opening, I guess we're going to try to be as solid as can be. So we're going to try to put pawns in the center. We're just going to try to develop two reasonable squares. A few things have already been taken away from me. Maybe this is even completely taken away from me. But we'll see what we can do. I'm contemplating here now, but if this, yeah, I think I can escape if something like that happens. I'm thinking here, also here, take. Hang on. Here they take, take, and they can't like immediately get rid of me. They have this. We can play this or this, and that might be fine. I'm a little nervous. Let's see how this goes. I might regret this, but I feel like, our opponent is playing something non-standard. In this configuration, I know my queen will be out early, but at the same time, just, it just kind of is what it is. Yeah. Okay, I'm just thinking here what I want to do. What I want to do. Yeah, let's develop. Let's castle. I got worried about them fianchettoing their bishop, and just the pressure it's going to put on this pawn and this bishop, that it won't be easy to develop. Maybe, I'll do something like this eventually, but yeah, let's go ahead and castle. Let's just get out of the center. Let's just try to play, relatively solid, but as I said, it is what it is sometimes. Kind of want to play here. That'll just, keep things under control, I think. I'll put a little clamper on our opponent's knight here. Extra defender for this knight. We could get kicked out, but, these things happen. I feel like I might have walked into something because they did succeed in trading off the D file. D file? Yeah, D file. I talk more about files than ranks sometimes, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't know what I was just talking about. I left my water in the other room while our opponent is taking a little bit of time. Let's go ahead and get it. But, oh, it's not where I thought it was. Let's see, did I move it already? Let's see. Do I see it in here? It sounded like our opponent did something, so yeah. Now think, what do I think? I think this is fine. Now I got 2 pawns in the center. Um, you know, some development over here. I might, I don't know, add here or here for development. Or what should one do? What should one do? Can also develop the knight, potentially, which isn't terrible. You know, just again developing. But I don't have any concrete plans. But, so yeah, when you don't have concrete plans, the name of the game is just, I guess, develop as reasonably as possible. Hopefully we didn't do anything stupid along the way is always, you know, just the mantra of playing things that you aren't familiar with. I keep on wanting to get my dang water and they keep on making moves. Silly chess. Silly chess trying to make moves while I'm trying to do things. Okay. Okay, back to thinking. Back to thinking. Where to develop? I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if there's any, like, you know, easier way to think through things. I want to add just another defender here. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just because I can imagine our opponent maybe moving here, putting another, you know, attacker there. Just, you know, always something. If they push, I might, I don't know, should I push? Should I push? And then eventually maybe I'll move here, depending on what our opponent does. Maybe putting the rook on the open C file. So that's going to be an idea eventually. Queen placement here, here. I was just thinking here, in the case that this ever opened up and our opponent hasn't castled, but I mean, what kind of world, what kind of madman wouldn't develop there? Okay, so yeah, they ended up going for this. I am thinking potentially about just moving up one. It'll put some pressure here in case our opponent ever does castle. Eventually putting our rook on the c file. And what else? I'm also noticing that our opponent hasn't castled yet, so I am thinking of doing this. With some thoughts of maybe doing this, because okay, if here, then take, or maybe even take here with some other, like, I don't know, ideas like this or something. Just because their king is still in the center, it makes me want to attack there. I'm going to go ahead and prep this so that my rooks are connected. It kind of finishes my development. Our opponent hasn't castled. Their bishop is completely stuck, but, you know, won't take long to be able to, I don't know, get them out, but that's why I'm thinking of striking here in the center, because here, so that's an idea, putting my knight here, and that's, yeah, that would be an outpost, so that's pretty good. It controls some of this stuff, although last time, I'm pretty sure, like, I feel like I did this almost last game where I put a knight on a pretty good outpost, but then I felt like I just completely lost the position after that, which is always crazy. But yeah, hopefully this turns into something for us. What was another idea? So here, or, you know, here. They could even take, but maybe we would take back immediately here, so that they would have to respond to that. I guess that could also be an idea if here. Okay, so yeah, they're opting for this idea. I'm I think I just, yeah, rerouting this way, right? I think that should be fine. It should be fine, right? Still holding this down. This, I mean, in terms of this diagonal, I don't think there was anything in particular that that piece was doing. So yeah, but yeah, they got their bishop developed, which, is something we were anticipating. Their king is still in the center. I'm still holding them down with this, and so I feel like now is the time to do something about that. But yeah, this is an outpost. I can maybe move like this. Eventually, if they were to castle, I could maybe jump in here, or yeah, here. But I don't know. Some of these aren't it. It kind of locks down this queen in a very defensive role. But yeah, well, and another idea was this, kicking the knight out. But I mean, I feel like I'm not gonna get a whole lot out of that whole exchange. Okay, and they opt actually instead just to um, just to do something, just to retreat. So yeah, I was wondering if here, 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 here. I don't know, definitely not like super stoked on that. I'm thinking here, but then they could just one move back. That's kind of interesting. Just because it locks down center a little bit. Trading off bishops. I'm wondering if that is good, if that's good, just because I already have these pawns in front of this bishop, so I feel like this bishop is worse. But I guess if I were to push up here, eventually it will, um, open up some chances here. I kind of like this idea, I'm not gonna lie, just because this bishop is kind of annoying. It's kind of, it's putting a lot of pressure on my queen side. But again, king in the center. I don't know. If here, then here. Then what? I don't know. I am gonna go ahead and do this. It does create another like kind of tempo scenario when I take back. So they might castle. We'll see what happens there. But I feel like it might just give a little bit of an opportunity. And I feel like they say don't alleviate the tension sometimes in the center. So I feel like there's a lot of tension here right now. So that's interesting and worth exploring for the time being, at least. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting move that our opponent could play. I don't know what I'll do in that situation. Okay, so they take back, putting this pressure. They're going to have to respond, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they're going to respond by castling. Could be mistaken. That these things happen, for sure. I feel like, okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, keeping the tension in the center, putting my rook here. This is what I've been thinking about for a little bit. Is that I feel like, in terms of, so this bishop is pretty weak, but so is theirs, so we have kind of like nullified each other as at the time, for the time being. So just putting my rook on an active square, I feel like has got to be just, again, just solid logical next steps and just development and active pieces. And yeah, like I don't have like a game plan right now. Something that crossed my mind was maybe moving my queen back in here because this is like one of the only like really weak pieces in the position. Um, Nothing is defending the bishop, but I mean I can't really get to it. And obviously the king is the piece. It can be quickly defended, and at that point I'm not sure um, what to do next again. But as the position kind of develops and as our opponent makes moves too, like right now I don't know what our opponent will do. I can imagine them. Okay, so they end up taking. So they're like, let's the tension whatever in the center. Let's do it. We can have this kind of like isolated queen pawn structure. Um, but I'm also wondering if I want to do anything like this and just trade off a bunch of pieces. So if here, here or here, I take, then I take maybe like this. I'd have my queen here in the center. We will be on the open file here, but this might be better for me in terms of that idea. Nothing really else though, which is kind of disappointing. I'm just trying to figure out what we can do. Eventually maybe if we push, there's this, so, actually they couldn't, if we were to take this pawn, I don't know if our opponent would be able to see that tactic. So, I don't know. Right now I'm just gonna take with the pawn. They respond pretty quickly with this knight move, which is interesting. I mean, we still got plenty of defense. They're attacking me. They could jump here, which puts some pressure there. But I don't know. Honestly, right now, if I did move here, could they attack? I don't think they can really. I mean, no, they can't do that. Can't really do a whole lot. If we do end up blocking here, it makes this much weaker, which is a little annoying. Yeah, just trying to decide what to do, where to go, how to, and yeah, just all that kind of stuff. This does add a defender here against checkmate, but if they were to just push us out, then what, maybe back here? And yeah, we would just take up some space. A decent amount of time is being spent, but again, I am just not sure on path forward and everything. This whole idea, I mean, doesn't do a whole lot for me in terms of creating a, I don't know, okay, this was just my idea, just to move back, right? Just to move back, checking to see if I got any potential, like, annoying forks or something, or pins, because that has happened to me a lot. If something like this, if this was a bishop, I am the king of blundering that kind of blunder, just allowing that, skewer or pin to occur. It's hard to always anticipate those from our opponent. Some other ideas here, 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 something. But yeah, so yeah, this is really no longer on the table. This whole take this pawn because it's pinned scenario. I can put another rook on an open file, but I don't know how exciting that is. Something I was thinking about is, yeah, jumping in with the knight, but again, to do what exactly? Uh, Here's interesting. Sorry, I didn't have time to mute. I'm gonna blow. Spring is upon us. I don't know if I've said that in a previous video, but it definitely is. And full blown in my nose. Actually, it's not full blown. It's gonna get a lot worse, is the thing. So that's always fun to look forward to in spring. His allergies. Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. Our opponent develop or doesn't develop, but kind of prevents us from moving any more forward that pawn. So again, I don't know, here, maybe even here with an attack there. I kind of like that, actually, to be honest. It makes our opponent have to kind of make a decision, although they could go back and add an attack or two. That pawn, which is annoying. And is there anything we can do about it? Trying to decide, trying to think. Yeah, part of me wants to just develop or put this piece on an active square. This piece is locked down on defense a little bit. They may kick us out, so at that time we'll make that move if we need to. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be just a normal chess move at this point. Again, more active, more scope, more vision on the board. Okay, and they are kind of suggesting to trade whatchamacallits, what do you call queens, which I think might be not a very good move for our opponent. I'm gonna go ahead and take, just because this is this infiltration of the second rank. So I mentioned ranks earlier, and I was like, I don't talk about ranks, but in my mind I was like, sometimes putting your rook on the second and seventh rank is one of those things that, if you can achieve it, is a big boon to your just overall. Oh, oh my goodness. Game plan and everything. Um, yeah, they could move back here. I could even move here, actually, to be honest. If they move back, so I became worried about this. I got very tempted by this idea. So I moved pretty hastily there. I could actually even move here now, to be honest. Which I think is crazy. I'm gonna. So yeah, we were anticipating this, just moving back, and we moved our rook to attack this pawn, double attack. So they're gonna have to move probably this rook, obviously, because okay, that happened. So, oh, should I do this now? I feel like I've gone crazy a little bit, but I don't know. This was a good move by our opponent. I feel like this is okay. I still have some idea here. Maybe trade, and then we'll come back, and then yeah, we'll come up here. Maybe that's it. Wait, what? Wait, what did I just all do? But yeah, here, then here eventually. But yeah, for now, uh, Let's we got doubled rooks, which is always good. We've cut off their rooks, so this is very good for us. I feel like in terms of, it's making them lose like communication. Like if you've disrupted your enemy's position or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, and now we've got a fork. So I think we're smooth sailing at this point. Um, so some things paid off and then just kind of all opened up all at once. So I think putting the rooks into the center and our opponent resigned. So good game to them. It was really um, pushing them to make us think outside of any memorized lines and traps and positions that we're comfortable with, and just trying to be solid with our development and putting pieces on squares that make sense, identifying unactive pieces and trying to activate them. So I was pretty excited with, the stuff that I'm trying to internalize myself and getting an opportunity to play it in a game. So good game to our opponent. We're gonna just start the review process right now. While that's loading up, one of the things I like to do is trying to recap the first 5 moves of every game, and this one was, outside of what we normally get. So it's gonna be a little touch and go here. But our opponent played a3, which was interesting. So a3, we play e5. My voice cracked there a little bit. We played c4, I believe. We played knight f6. Well, then what did our opponent play? What did our opponent play? Did they play knight c3? Was it knight c3? Maybe. Maybe knight c3. I'm just going to go with it. And then I think we ended up playing d5, and then c takes d5. Knight takes d5. And did they take back? I can't remember now if they took back or not. I feel like they did, but I could be wrong. No, I don't think they did, but then what did they do? I think they might have played h3. h3. And then what did we play? I can't remember. Come on. Let's think. Did we castle? Did we develop our bishop? Maybe we developed our bishop. But developed it to c5 maybe, I think. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to lock in my answers that's what happened. Okay, let's take a look at the numbers. Our opponent played 77. We got 84. Always, like I said, like solid B. I can take a B minus, but I would say that's a solid B, not a B plus, not a B minus. I guess it tends toward the B minus side, but it's that mid 80s. I'll take it. Only 2 book moves, decent amount over here. Our real, so 3 inaccuracies and 3 misses, and our opponent had a blunder and more mistakes. We had no mistakes, which is always nice. Scored us as a 1950. But our opponent also played pretty solidly again. Looking at the opening was, incredible that we were playing so accurately, and I'll absolutely take how well I played the middle game, and we just outplayed them there a little bit. So, okay, let's go ahead and start the review. So yeah, a3, e5, c4, knight f6, then it's knight c3, yeah, and then we put in the center, they take, we take, yep, they develop, yep, and here, so that's 5, yep, okay, so we got it, we got that first 5, and yeah, let's take a look. So this is so out of those, the first 5, and then our opponent makes an inaccuracy. Their better move was to send a queen into the game. That's surprising at this point, but they're gonna play a C pawn move that always suggests, on either side that you're gonna develop your queen on one of these diagonals. We castle, they fianchetto. We just kind of quietly reinforce things. They take. This is the best for us. Um, Again, developing. It's just saying it's good. I'm sure. I don't know. Let's find out what it thinks is best. Okay, it does want us to push in the center. We do that eventually, but it's hard to make the claim that this is the better option, or if this is like the right option at the right time. I said option because I saw that this is an inaccuracy. You had a better option was to create a pawn chain. You allow your opponent to attack the bishop with a pawn. So yeah, that idea. Making a pawn chain. Is this still what you want? Yep. And this scores almost 2 points of material right off the bat. That's crazy. Fights against central. I'm like thinking about it, but at the same time, it was incredibly hard to like really imagine it again at that point. But and I couldn't see my opponent playing this move and then or this move. So sometimes the computer's best move is just so hard to understand sometimes. And yeah, it's like developing this whole thing, and now we make this move after we've been like pushing this piece around, starting to weaken the king side. Yeah, weaken the king side quite a bit there. Interesting position. That's crazy. Crazy to look at. So yeah, they didn't like it. Missed a better way to move the bishop to safety. I don't know, what did you want? Just like here or something? Just that's. I mean, well, what other moves are there? Bishop to safety. Oh, I guess there's this. Yeah. Okay. Fine. That's fine. I guess. I always end up keeping my bishops on these longer diagonals, but okay. In terms of like how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Really, I have. And then here, I mean, I guess how many squares do I have either way, I don't have any squares, but at least here I got some squares. So I guess, I can understand. I didn't like it, so we finally make the pawn push. It didn't like this. Let's bring the last piece into the game. So, no, it didn't like that. What, here? This rook? I don't know, it's taking its sweet time. Most of the time when it's taking its sweet time, it doesn't like it. Because it knows immediately. Okay, that's fine. What are you talking about? Last piece into the game. What you talking about? I don't know this. No. No. Okay, tell me. Give me a hint. Oh, it is this rook. What, here? Oh, yeah, okay. Alright. So kind of, we did find a good move out of it. Best move was to move a rook to a more active position. I thought, at least I was hoping it would give me a good, as not an inaccuracy, but, what can you do? So it likes that better, but to a more active square, I mean, how many other squares are there? Yeah, just tell me. I'm curious. I mean, I think we move there eventually after this file opens up, but, I mean, hey, computer, if you're able to see so many more moves ahead of me, that you know what I end up doing anyway. So yeah, these are these kinds of shuffling moves, so yeah, it likes it now. I mean, I thought that, I guess this wasn't like super, I didn't feel very confident about my position, but I felt like this, it seems like, we'll double check. I wish it showed that like bar graph, but yeah, like a bit of a, I think we had a, well, yeah, we had a pretty good advantage at this point, positionally it seemed. And yeah, we're kind of in the driver's seat, although it's pretty equal. But at the same time, we're not allowing anything super crazy. And yeah, I felt like this infiltration. Yeah, I liked that. You know, and yeah, there's the inaccuracy. Only missed the critical move in the position, huh? Critical move in the position. It couldn't have been this. Could it be this? No, it could be that. Could be this. Could be this. Could it? I mean, could it? I guess let's ask. I'm gonna have to blow my nose here in a little bit. Nope, that's a blunder. Yeah, that's what I thought. The critical move, huh? Is this? Hmm. I did see that this pawn, if we got rid of this bishop, would be weak at some point. I was like anticipating a world where like all this happened originally, and then stuff like this. This is what I had envisioned a little bit, but yeah, they blunder, and then yeah, that's it. Made it to 20, and sometimes the blunder is what ends the game. Sometimes, especially from a psychological confidence perspective, and yeah, just good game to our opponent. So yeah, looking at the bar, yeah, we had a little good moment here in the center. We made a few inaccuracies that kind of put us back, and I don't know, some misses maybe. So yeah, let's just review some of those moments on our side. It's actually not flagging any of those inaccuracies for me, so I don't quite see it, but we'll just take it all the way back and just double check some of those inaccurate moves. I felt like one of them, okay, yeah, so there's the one, it wanted, so we were identifying that our opponent's king is still in the center. We should look to be more aggressive. We're almost done with our, the main objectives of the opening. Man, look at that forehead. Wow, I hit my head hard on a shelf earlier today. Um, but yeah, our minor pieces are out. Sure, we haven't connected the rooks, but their king is still in the center, and we are castled ourselves. So, breaking into the center, I guess I guess maybe our opponent could play something like that, but I wouldn't have been able to detect that at this point. And I don't know, this was keeping them in the center. And then obviously they would need to respond. I guess I was worried about just them being annoying over here uh, and stuff. But, and yeah, going like back here. So, I don't know, identifying or trying to identify more aggressive, like that cusp of being done with opening and trying to pounce on our opponent's lack of development and trying to punish it as quickly as possible is tough to see, and I feel like can result in uh, um, um, can result in overextending. I know I've done that before, where I've pushed pawns and overextended and regretted it. Our next inaccuracy was moving our bishop back as opposed to moving the bishop here, and I guess I can understand this in terms of, and try to internalize this too in terms of how like how many squares my piece is can see, can touch, and um, like in the moment. Because part of my idea was like moving back here was just, even though I can't do a whole lot on this diagonal, eventually I feel like it will be important. But here, I mean, like I'm technically controlling things, but our opponent isn't threatening to get in here, so I don't know if I understand this. Show idea retreat. This move puts the bishop on a safer square. You know, okay, that eventually happens, and then that eventually happens. I don't know. To me, this did make sense, so it's hard for me to make sense of it all. But let's just pointing out all the squares that I could potentially see. I don't know. It's so hard to, but it's just so hard to make sense of it. All right, moving on. I'm starting to get kind of hungry, so hopefully we'll finish up here. So this miss, how come it doesn't show up on my? I feel like it should flag. It should flag all the things. Better option was to bring the last piece into the game. Also, what was it? It was this. I don't know. Conventional wisdom and again ideas like just putting a rook on an open file is just how you're supposed to think. So I was originally very proud of this. The fact that it classified this as a miss as opposed to a good or anything, saddens me a little bit. But I felt like we were doing the right things overall. Yeah, so I'm not gonna. Oh, I'm trying to make sense of it, make sense of it all. Let's move to rook to a more active position. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it this? Is this what it liked? So a move that we eventually make. So that might have been one of the last inaccuracies. And then yeah, our opponent let us get close, and then we had another miss here. What did it like? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, just attacking here, and eventually doubling up on the second rank of our opponent's position, and really infiltrating there. All right, and then yeah, they blundered the fork. And that ended the game. So it was more a our opponent didn't detect our I don't know our mistakes weren't that dire. We just missed opportunities to really punish the opponent, which is a tough thing again to internalize. Recognizing our opponent making a mistake and being able to pounce on that, I feel like, especially a pawn break like that right in the center, when there's still like some minor developing things that I could do, open files for our rooks to be put on. That's so hard to ignore and forego in lieu of putting our rooks on active squares that I don't perceive, at least in that moment. But we were identifying tension, so I feel like that tension maybe is where we need to focus on, and if we're able to pinpoint that focused center and direct pieces and our artillery in that direction or on that position, on that point, maybe that's the way forward. But yeah, what can we watch like YouTube wise? So yeah, that was some crazy opening. I don't know if it has a name, but some crazy opening. Uh, yeah, like punishing our opponent's mistakes, pawn breaks. Maybe pawn breaks. That's the thing I guess take away on this one is to study pawn breaks. But we've been at it for almost 45 minutes, so I'll go ahead and let you go. Thank you for watching. Uh, you know, kind of a tough, well, a good game to our opponent. They were really making us think. Again, like I said, logically, as soundly as we could. Computer didn't think it was as sound as it could be, but we'll study some pawn breaks and see if we can better understand the structure of things going forward. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and go and get some sleep.